Hey there, avid listeners. Thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about Nightshine by Tessa Gratton. This was a novel, I'm not going to lie, I had some difficulty getting through this novel. I did have a lot of difficulty actually because it was like a roller coaster of a ride for me, this pacing. I mean, it had such a strong beginning. Don't get me wrong. That beginning, it's jaw-dropping. It's written well. It has a lot of intrigue to it. It sets up the world and who the main antagonist is going to be. So it sets up a lot with very little. And that highlights the author's talent already, so I was intrigued. For the author to make such an impact with such little wording and detail, I think is excellent work. However, after that, the story does fall flat, unfortunately. I want to say this. It has a really good beginning. It has an excellent ending. I love the ending. And there's this little bit in the middle that I was really intrigued by. But let me say this. God, there's a lot of dull parts in there. I mean, from the beginning to that middle, it's dull. And then from the middle to the end, it's dull. I was just bored to tears. There were points where I'm just like, oh my God, I have to read this book. I don't feel like reading it. I'm not gonna lie, I think I did start to skim, but then once the pacing got really energetic and energized for the middle, I was just taking my time because I didn't want to miss in detail, and I thought it was really well done. Nobody grows. She changes her name to Nightshine. She figures out her identity and where she's supposed to be in the world, and I think that that's incredible, and that happens in the middle, and I loved it. But God, those moments in between were so, I was bored to tears. I really was, and I feel bad saying that because this novel has so many good parts to it. I feel bad saying that there were parts of it that bored me to tears, to the point where I just didn't want to pick up this novel again, to the point where I just didn't feel like reading it anymore. It was a struggle. It was a struggle to get through some of those parts because they were very slowly paced. They didn't add a whole lot, only because they were very repetitive. I felt like just the same thing was happening over and over and over again. And I was just like, oh my God, get on with it already. We get it. You are in love with her. You think she's your demon under the mountain, reborn in this human form. We get it. So I just couldn't stand it. Oh God, I feel bad saying that. I couldn't stand it because it did border on repetitive. I felt like the author was just kind of taking up space. She did such a good job, or they. I'm not sure of their pronouns. I'm going to say they. They did such a good job with that beginning. That beginning, it was mysterious. Like I said, it said so much with so little. And then it was like pulling teeth, It was just like the author wanted to make this last as long as possible. So they decided, I'm just going to make this last forever. And oh God, it did last forever. I'm sorry. I can't get past those parts. It just, ugh. But anyway, I digress. I did ultimately, in the end, like the story. Like I said, really strong middle, really strong end note. And I like the characterization. I think nobody's voice for the most part, was kind of bland until she decided to rename herself Nightshine, and I think that that's on purpose, and that's probably another reason why I felt like the story was dragging, because her voice just really didn't have life to it. It didn't have vitality to it. But she goes on this adventure with her king's guard, not her prince's guard. This man, he's in love with the prince, and while they were on the prince's tour, they pretended to be man and wife. And I do love this. I love how the prince questions gender. They are just like, sometimes I want to be a woman, sometimes I want to be a man, sometimes I want to be both. What's wrong with that? I do like that he is very vocal about his identity and who he wants to be. He wants to just live his truth. And so when they were touring the world, or his kingdom, before he takes the crown, he decided, I'm going to be a woman. And he is the most beautiful maiden who is not maiden. That's what they call him in the book. And I thought that was very empowering as far as relating to gender. I feel like society wants to put people into a box and conform them into a box. And I really do think that gender is a very personal thing. I think that, this is my opinion, you do not have to share it. I think that your gender and your identity is your own. That you should not be forced to conform yourself or restrict yourself or put yourself in a box because it's going to help you fit in and be you. I think what this novel highlights is that no one's going to really love you until you love yourself and are honest with yourself. Because in order for people to really love you, they have to really know you, the real you, the you who is inside. And I think that is something that we as humans, we struggle with. I know I struggled with all through high school and through college. I was so worried about scaring people off that I used to just keep a lot of who I am inside. And I think I lucked out with my husband, because I can be as weird and strange and deranged as I want. I mean, he literally told me in our relationship, he's like, sweetheart, no one is as deranged as you. And he said it with such endearment. I think I lucked out. And I think the people who find someone like my husband, I think we're all the lucky ones, because we find someone. Just like Nightshine found someone, just like her prince found someone. These characters find people who love them for who they are inside, for people who encourage them to live their truth and be their true selves. And I think that that's a very empowering moment in this story that really connected to me as a reader. And that's another reason why I kind of just stuck through those boring parts, because I loved the message of the story. I think it's a great message. I thought it was an empowering message. I was blown away by this message, to tell you the truth, and I really do think it is a remarkable one. But again, those boring parts, they really got to me. And they did hinder my overall enjoyment of the story. But, ultimately I did enjoy it, and I really did like it. So this was Nightshine by Tessa Gratton. I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 out of 5 stars. I love the message. I love the unique way the author decided to name her characters. And I love how it pushes against this wall of what it means, what gender means to people, and to question it, not restrict yourself by gender or by society's dictation of what is normal. There's no such thing as normal, you know? What's chaos to the fly is normal for the spider, you know? It's just, there is no normal. It's subjective. And I think we shouldn't subject ourselves to what other people want and other people's desires. And I like that message in this story. I like how the prince is like, well, I'm the prince. I'm going to do me. I admire that about the characterization. But, you know, again, those boring parts, they just got to me. In any case, this was Nightshine. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars. If you want to purchase the book, please purchase off of bookshop.org because proceeds do go to supporting local booksellers. Or purchase off of your own bookstore. IndieBound, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble. I just went on a shopping spree at Barnes & Noble because I got a lot of gift cards. And I spent $180 worth of books. And I have no regrets. So support your bookstores, please. And I hope you all will continue to support me by liking this podcast and sharing it with all your book-loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.